imagine getting a bank balance of 10 million or 7 million and getting broke immediately, like in a span of 2 years. I know you think that all the financial challenges that you have, maybe if you get something like 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, it will be the end of your financial challenges. But let me tell you that you can receive the money, and the money will leave you broken more than you are. I have a case that I was following when I was trying to read how people spend a windfall, and I came across this case of those guys from Kirinyaga who are paid to pave way for the construction of Difa Dam in Kirinyaga. So one guy is giving their story and saying that they had a bank balance of 7 million. That is after they have already purchased a car, they had already hired a driver, but in a span of 2 years, they were already broke again. So what could they have done to prevent such a scenario to happen? What could they have done to make the money last maybe a bit longer? So that is what I want us to think about in this video, and that's why my topic is 7 million windfall. So welcome to Finance Focus with Andrew. In case it is your first time here we limit ourselves to conversation that enhance our financial literacy, which is key when it comes to managing your personal finances. So consider subscribing, turn on the notification button so that you don't get to miss any of the conversation. So in my opinion, this guy who received, let's say he received around 10 million, because by the time he was giving the story, he said that he was having a running bank balance of 7 million, and he had already bought a car that was worth around 2 million. And the guy goes ahead and says that someone had told them that a million could last them 10 years. They could use a million in 10 years. But the 7 million that he was talking about lasted less than 2 years. So what could make a million last someone 10 years? Or what could make someone think that a million can last 10 years? While his 7 million did not last even 2 years. And now at the end of the video he says he wished that he can be given just a million bob to rub his tears. And I'm sure if he is given a million today, he can try to make a better use of it. Now, with a 7 million windfall, what can you do with it? Because from the story, the guy says, it's just that it's like he received the money and just went extravagant all at once. Because he says that he could pay for a plane to go to have lunch in Mombasa, and that's how his 7 million ended up not seeing 2 years. So, in my opinion, there could have been a better use of this money. So, let me assume that he received 7 million, and I'm assuming that he was displaced from the place where he was staying. And the amount, I think, let's work with 9 million, because he had 7 million and he had already purchased a car. So let me assume that he was displaced. He was completely displaced from his land. So I could assume that he can use 2 million to acquire another land somewhere else, and he can use another 2 million to build a comfortable house in the village. I'm sure it is not that expensive, and we are talking about a story that happened around in 2015, 2017. So he could have constructed a comfortable house with the other 2 million. Now, from the 9 million, he's left with 5 million. So even if you receive a windfall and you have never operated a kiosk, you have never been a hawker, it is not the best advice to go risk this 5 million into business. Now that for the rest of, for your entire life, you have never operated a business, don't try to go and risk this kind of money in a business that you don't know about. Well, if you have been operating a business, you can go and expand that business. But you'll find people who will be telling you start this, start this, start this, and this 5 million can end up finishing in the errands of trying this and that. So, in my opinion, you can have this money in an avenue that gives you some interest, and you'll be able to survive on the interest comfortably. I'll just give two examples. So, example number one is Treasury Bonds. So, after you have settled, you can have such an amount invested in bonds at, like, let's take an infrastructure bond that pays even 15%. So, at 15%, so let's do the maths. So 15 million, 15% of 5 million, I believe that should come to something like that is 75, that is 750,000 per annum. This comes to around 375 per 6 months. Because we know that bonds pays quarterly income. And if you get to divide this comes to around 62,500 per month. So after you have settled down, and I'm sure there is something else that you will be engaging in economically, I believe 62,500 could have done justice to this man up to date, because other than the usual economic activities he is involving in, he received he gets a coupon of 62,500 per month, although it is received per 6 months. So this could have done him better, other than scooping the 7 million in a span of 2 years. So another option is, I want simple things that are not complicated, where the risk is minimal. So let's take an option of money market fund. 5 million, let's take the net return to be at 10%. That is after tax, after the management fee, the net to be at 10%, which is very possible. So 10% of 5 million, of course that is 500,000. 500,000, that is per annum. So if you get to divide that by 12 months, so that comes to around 41,600. So other than the usual economic activities that they get to engage in, this money can help them to either receive a 62,500 per month or a 41,600 per month for the rest of their life. But they already squandered the 5 million, and they are back to their poverty status. And this time it is even worse, because you know that you are back to poverty, but it is after misusing a windfall. But it's unfortunate that if you don't have the necessary financial skills, if you have never bothered to learn about any financial investment, even if you happen to get a windfall, I don't think you'll be lucky enough to be able to learn and effect at that moment. So as far as, even if you don't have money to invest today, don't keep away from gaining financial investment skills, because you might never know when you get to get a windfall. So have the information as you go finding the money to invest. So I'm one person who believes that we can do better when we receive windfalls in life, instead of them leaving us to regret. They can enable us to live a better life thereafter. So what do you think about that?